Call the member for Holt.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. I too rise to support the motion moved by the member for Fowler, which really discusses an issue that we should be discussing in this place. Some would describe it as the genocide of a peoples. This motion notes with appropriate and grave concern evidence from Human Rights Watch of a series of brutal crackdowns carried out by security forces against ethnic Rohingya Muslims, including, as has been mentioned, extrajudicial killing, the torture and suffering of Rohingya women, men and children, the forced displacement of more than 688,000 Rohingya Muslims into Bangladesh, the destruction, arson and takeover of more than 300 villages by the Myanmar military, and endemic rape and sexual violence. The Rohingya are, Deputy Speaker, a stateless Muslim minority in Myanmar. Myanmar was home to an estimated 1.3 million Rohingya Muslims. There's been a long history of persecution of the Rohingya population, including the denial of citizenship under the 1982 citizenship law and the denial of the most basic government services. According to Human Rights Watch, the current military government denies that Rohingya are an ethnic group and claims that Muslims in northern Arakan are Bengalis, whose arrival is fairly recent. It takes the view that the migration that took place during the period of British colonial rule was illegal, and it is on this basis that it refuses citizenship to the majority of the Rohingya. In reality, the Rohingya have a very well-established presence in what is now Burma since at least the 12th century. Rohingya political leaders claim that Rohingya are an ethnically distinct group, descendants of the first Muslims who began migrating to northern Arakan in the 8th century. The United Nations and Human Rights Watch have described the situation in the Rakhine State over recent years, and I would endorse this, as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing, which has led to thousands of Rohingya Muslims having to flee as refugees. One of the things that I note, and I think the member for Wright was talking about people in his part of the world, I have the honour, we have a quite substantial population of the Muslim faith that live in my constituency. And when I ask them about issues that concern them, the persecution of these people without the world taking action is something that disturbs them greatly, and it is hard to describe. Just as we struggle to describe the massacres in Africa, in Rwanda in particular. And one of the things that it always concerns me, and I support this motion wholeheartedly, is that there was a concept that was advocated by my very distinguished predecessor, Gareth Evans, when he was Foreign Affairs Minister and afterwards, which is the concept that was used in Libya of the right to protect a civilian population when genocide is being committed against its own people. That was invoked as part of the reason to take military action in Libya, which then led to the overthrow of Gaddafi. But my question, and I would put this question as in the same situation in Syria, when its ethnic population of 300,000 people were killed by its own government, why is the international community watching in Asia large-scale ethnic cleansing? It is unacceptable to me, Deputy Speaker, that this action is being taken while the world watches virtually powerless. We should call what is occurring in this place what it is. It is genocide. It is genocide in a country that's not far away from us, with which we have historic connections. And thus, as international citizens, as a middle power, we have an obligation to take action. And my view would be, and I put this forward not as a Labor Party policy, but as an individual watching this with growing sense of horror and dismay, that there should be some United Nations action invoked under the right to protect that population, because that is not occurring. And I would urge the government, in a respectful way, in a bipartisan way, to take that action. That is showing real leadership that we should be showing in this region. We can't allow this sort of humanity to continue, particularly in this region, anywhere in the world, And so in supporting the member's motion, I would urge the government to take action under the provisions of right to protect, to advocate for that, so these people can no longer be wiped from the face of the planet as they are now.
Hear, hear.
I